This is the 2022 Renault Trafic. Yes, I know it looks kind of the same, although it has had a bit of a facelift up front, but this is what they call new Trafic. As I said, this is basically the same van. It has got a nicer, sharper front end with some nicer headlights, a nice big grille and a redesigned bumper. It's got the same 2-litre turbo diesel engine under the bonnet as it ever has, and it's got the same body size, the same chassis, the same underpinnings. But this is not one of those facelifts where it's just skin deep. This is one of those facelifts where they've actually changed some things that really matter. The original Renault Trafic, the one that was launched the best part of a decade ago, used to have some of the lowest NCAP safety ratings in the sector. They have actually taken care of that, and they've packed this thing with some really advanced driver safety tech, and it's absolutely worth checking out. In fact, the cabin as well is a place they've really upgraded. Before it was looking a bit tired and dated, and now it's looking like the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. So, let's start at the front end and take a really close look at the things they've changed here. So, the front end of the Renault Trafic, it used to look a little bit kind of rounded, a little bit dumpy, but now it's got some really sharp, imposing lines on the bonnet. And underneath there, of course, is those big 2-litre turbo diesel engines offering power outputs of around 170 HP, which is really quite good. You've got a new redesigned grille, a much larger and a much more shiny Renault logo right here. You've got some nice kind of, pretend chrome accents here, and a nice redesigned front bumper. I mean, look, you've got some metal up here, but the rest of this is all plastic. It's all weight saving. I mean, you've got a nice big heavy diesel engine in there. And to be fair, after reviewing quite a lot of electric vans, I mean, look, I love the planet, I love the environment. It is just quite nice, though, to have a proper diesel-powered van here right now. And by the way, that's not to say that electric vans aren't proper, okay? I'm just saying that, the diesel came first, electric is the future. But yeah, anyway, cabin. As I said, the cabin is one of the places that Renault has really taken care to make sure that they update. I think it's probably fair to say that even back in 2019, when you had your very first facelift of the Renault Trafic, the interior was, it was already looking tired. It just looked even more tired, especially with all the Stellantis vans coming out. I mean, it's no secret, but in 2019, obviously, Vauxhall stopped using the Trafic platform to build their Vivaro on, and instead started using the EMP2 platform that the Stellantis group created. So, it was kind of incumbent on Renault to do something a little bit different. And I've got to say, when you get into the front of the Trafic, it's hard to kind of believe that it's the same interior. The upholstery is just one thing that seems to be improved, and the already excellent driving position feels even higher because of the kind of firmness, but yet some very supportive driver seat. The steering wheel feels like it's been slightly refined as well. It's got some nice kind of black shiny plastic accentation around the controls. It's very nice and grippy, feels really sturdy, and yet behind it is a dashboard instrumentation display that is effectively a 4.2-inch screen in the middle that just displays your speed, all the apps, anything you're running. If you've got satellite navigation on, it shows you which direction you're supposed to be going. And you've got then 2 hard dials either side that show your coolant temperature, your fuel indicator, your rev counter, and your speedo. And they've got really nice sharp white backgrounds with red LED lit up needles. It just looks really cool. They've done a really great job. I mean, other than that, you've also got some nice top deck storage under here, which is good. You could fit, well, a few things in there. Not big things, but, nice touch. Then you've got this kind of nice kind of basin-sized dish in here, and at the back of that, you've got 2 USB charging ports, which is fantastic. Now, finally, the Renault Trafic has joined the 21st century, and we have in the middle here a fantastic, massive, great big infotainment display, again with touch buttons down the side. You've got access to all sorts of things here. You've got audio controls, basic sort of vehicle functionality. You've got your home screen, your apps, and also you can turn it off and on if you find it a bit distracting. It also has another USB port right here. This one is for connecting your phone to the infotainment system here so that you can use your apps, navigation, etc., Google Maps, that kind of stuff. Below that, you've got some hard buttons. You've also got some blank buttons. I don't know why. You've got hazard lights here, an eco setting. You can actually turn off auto engine start stop. You can turn that off if you hate the planet. I don't. I love the planet. You've got traction control settings here. You can actually engage one for when you're driving over it's basically stabilization control. Below that, you've got some hard knobs, and I love hard knobs when it comes to climate control. That one might be a bit close to the bone, and my editor might decide to take it out. You've got yourself a 12-volt charging port off to the left here. Great. love a 12-volt charging port. And because this is a honest-to-goodness diesel version, this is actually the manual version. This is a 6-speed gearbox right here, which is great to see. Obviously, you've got your 6 speeds and you've got your reverse gear as well. You also have the option, if you want, to go for a really good 6-speed auto gearbox that everyone raves about. I myself have actually had the luck to be able to drive one of these in automatic configuration. I have to say that the auto gearbox is incredibly responsive and I really enjoyed driving it. The manual, absolutely fine. It just depends whether you like to be in control of where the power goes or whether you trust the auto gearbox to do all of that distribution for you. But I have to say the auto gearbox does a really good job. Other than that, you've got some more storage over here. You've got a little storage bin here with a rubberized bottom. Oh, gotta love a rubberized bottom on a little storage cubby. You've also got a relatively sizable glove box down there. That's always cool. That's quite nice to see. You've got ample door storage. I've got to say the interior of the old Vivaro and the current Traffic are usually quite applauded for how much storage you've got. You've got nice big sun visors. You've got some lights up here. You've got your bench seat as well, and because this is a medium van, the bench seat is actually quite generous. I've reviewed a lot of small vans recently, and what I'm always at pains to point out is that, yes, they may have bench seats in them, meaning you can carry 2 extra passengers, but actually in a small van, it's quite awkward and quite uncomfortable. One of the things I like about the interior of the Renault Traffic, however, is because it's a medium van, you do have a lot more room, and not only that, but the person sitting in the middle, who's usually going to have their knee taken out by whatever's in the way, and also have their other knee awkwardly rubbing against the other passengers, what you've got here actually, the console that the gear stick is mounted on is actually offset away from the middle, so you've actually got a really nice area for your knee to go right here, and it's cut away here as well, so you can get your knee either side of that. So brilliant. I mean, you're not going to be that uncomfortable. I mean, obviously, if you are the middle passenger, you're going to have to expect some discomfort because, well, you're riding in the middle seat. That's just how it is. And if you're on the middle seat, well, that says quite a lot about your social standing, which is probably going to get me in trouble. The one area that the Renault Traffic for 2022 actually does kind of take a little bit of a step back is in the loading bay. No, it's not loading bay, I'll get letters. So here we are, the cargo area of the Renault Traffic, or New Traffic as Renault continue to call it. Now, the one area that New Traffic does actually fall back on, well, not fall back on, takes a step back on from its old incarnation, is undoubtedly the cargo area. Now, that's because the payload is slightly lower. It's not a lot lower, but you now have a maximum payload in the range of 1,166 kilograms. So, in the medium van sector, it's very clear there are a lot of other vans, in fact, that are capable of carrying a lot more weight. Now, that's not to say the Renault Traffic isn't a good carrier, because it is. I mean, just take a look at that loading area. It's beautifully ply-lined, something you do get free when you lease a vehicle from Vanarama. But I know there are going to be a lot of you out there who probably think, in the medium van sector, when you've got some vans that are capable of 1,400 kilogram payloads, and sometimes even higher, why would I choose the Renault Traffic, even if it does have a new updated cabin and all that kind of stuff? And I would usually say that it's competitive pricing. It'll be what you like about it. But I will say the Traffic has managed to endure in the medium van sector for a long time, simply because once people get in the front of it, they drive it around, they have a look at it, they see it in profile, they use it, they love these big doors, they love the fact the loading lip is just straight in off the back. They love the big side sliding doors. There's a lot of good things here in this van that all come together to almost kind of negate the fact that you can't necessarily carry as much weight. Look, if you're a weight carrying business, you're going to go for something else. If you don't necessarily need as much, the Renault Traffic, and especially in its new facelifted guise, I've got to say, it's worth putting the money up for it. Anyway, let's wrap this up at the front. So, how do we finish this one? Well, 2022's new Renault Traffic boils down to 3 things. Sharper looks, a better designed cabin than ever, and increased safety. You do lose a little bit of payload at the back, but it's never really been a weight carrier anyway. What you will find is that for competitive pricing, especially on a lease, the Renault Traffic really does deserve consideration. It's a medium van that has attitude and is now safer than ever. Gotta like that combination, eh?